Hello everyone, I'm Kevin Elson, and here's a look at what's going on this week in the news. We begin with news from the Vatican. At an audience with Italian President Giorgio Napolitano at the Vatican, Pope Francis said that the serious violations inflicted on the basic right of religious freedom around the world are causes of serious concern. He charged the world's nations with acting together to uphold the dignity of the human person against every attack. Pope Francis also told Napolitano that the most worrying problems today include the weakening of the family and social ties, falling birth rates, the rule of profit in the work world, and insufficient attention being paid to younger generations and their education. The Pope went on to say that there needs to be a culture of encounter amongst young people where believers and non-believers collaborate to promote a world where injustices can be overcome and every person may be welcomed and may contribute to the common good. More news now from the Vatican. Mexico has a new ambassador to the Holy See. He met with Pope Francis at the Vatican on Monday. Rome Reports has more on the meeting.
Pope Francis welcomed Mexico's new ambassador to the Holy See, Mariano Palacios, to the Vatican's Apostolic Palace.
Y un placer especial siendo usted el primer pontífice latinoamericano con quien nos hermanamos profundamente.
It was a bittersweet moment for the new ambassador, who on Friday lost his brother in a crash in the Mexican state of San Luis Potosí. In fact, at one point, it was unknown if the ambassador would attend the meeting. Ambassador Palacios attended the meeting with his family, including his grandchildren, who also got to greet the Pope.
¿Cómo te llamas? Sebastián. ¿Vos cómo te llamas?
The Pope also blessed the ambassador's daughter-in-law and his grandson, who is still in the womb. As a gift, the ambassador gave the Pope a book of historic churches in the state of Querétaro, where he once served as governor. His granddaughter gave the Pope an image of Our Lady of Guadalupe, the patroness of the Americas. After the meeting, the ambassador met with the press at his local residence. He said the Pope was very sympathetic to the tragedy his family is dealing with.
Sus primeras palabras fueron expresar la solidaridad personal y a la familia.
Even though the Pope's only scheduled trip at this point is to Brazil, the ambassador said the Pope has an open invitation to visit Mexico.
One other note from the Vatican, though, he had prepared a lengthy speech to give 9,000 students, alumni, and teachers from Jesuit-run schools and associations in Italy and Albania. Pope Francis decided to speak off the cuff during this special audience. After hitting some of the main points of his speech, the then Pope, answered 10 questions, which included how to deal with doubt, how to live with hope in a troubled world, and whether Christians should be politically active. The special event, which was held in the Vatican's Paul VI Hall, was an occasion for young people, parents, and educators to highlight the Jesuit charism, particularly in the field of education, and to celebrate the election of the first Jesuit Pope in the Church's history. In news now from Italy, pilgrims gathered in Loreto, Italy, received a surprise phone call when Pope Francis called in. Rome Reports has the details on that.
About 100,000 pilgrims got a nice surprise over the weekend when they got a phone call from Pope Francis. The call was made at the Elvia Regina Stadium just moments after Cardinal Marc Ouellet celebrated Mass with tens of thousands of pilgrims. On its official website, organizers posted video of the gathering and the excitement that followed the Pope's phone call.
Pronto?
Pronto, pronto, sì.
Come sta lei? Bene?
Santo Padre. È l'applauso dei fedeli, dei giovani, dei vescovi, delle autorità. Sono migliaia di giovani, Santo Padre.
The 17-mile overnight pilgrimage began on Saturday night and ended Saturday morning, all the way from Macerata to the Marian Shrine in Loreto. In his brief message, the Pope encouraged pilgrims to live out their faith by making it present in their everyday lives. He also said that life is a type of pilgrimage where the most important thing is an encounter with Jesus.
Looking at news from Rome, representing 30,000 of their peers from around the world, 38 unconsecrated members of Regnum Christi, the lay movement associated with the Legionnaires of Christ, met in Rome to discuss the identity of the movement and draft new regulations for their branch. They also joined the Legionnaires and consecrated members for a novena to the Sacred Heart of Jesus and a special feast day, Mass, June 7th, which included prayers for those who have left the movement and those who have been hurt by it, as well as prayers for the renewal process. Members are still disheartened after revelations that their movement's founder fathered children and sexually abused seminarians. Cardinal Velasio de Paulus, whom Pope Benedict appointed in 2010 to oversee the reform of the Legionnaires and Regnum Christi, met with the unconsecrated representatives. He called their lay branch a very beautiful part of the movement and said he wanted to look at the ongoing commitment of members who, like the Church itself, believe evil will not be victorious and that darkness cannot overpower the light of God's love and gifts. And finally in the news, at the opening of the USCCB's spring meeting in San Diego, the chairman of 3 committees reiterated the bishop's support for comprehensive immigration reform that protects families and workers. Los Angeles Archbishop Jose Gomez, chairman of the USCCB's Committee on Migration, said that every day he witnesses the human consequences of a broken immigration system, such as separated families and the exploitation of migrant workers. Bishop John Wester of Salt Lake City, chairman of the Committee on Communications and former chair of the Migration Committee, said the conference is urging Congress to maintain the current balance between enforcement goals and improvements in the legal immigration system, including a path to citizenship. And Bishop Jaime Soto of Sacramento, a member of the board of directors of the Catholic Legal Immigration Network, warned that attempts to reform the immigration system would fail if they don't allow for immigrants to fully incorporate into American society. Well, that is all the information we have for you this time. I'm Kevin Nelson. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV Network.